I'm welcome everybody to no. Calm down. So I'm welcome everybody to another episode of the Prewsandvews podcast. Jefferson not around, so I'm just going to tackle this issue alone. And you've already seen the title. It has to do with the LGBTQI plus debate and discussion that's going on, making headlines in Ghana. And this video is going to be more of an informative video as to what is causing all this confusion and unclarity on this issue. So I'm just going to dive right into it. First off, we need to take a look at what the Constitution says concerning this issue. And the Constitution states in Section 104(1)(b) of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 that a person who has unnatural carnal knowledge of another person of not less than 16 years of age with consent of the other commits a misdemeanor. And right here, you can identify two problems with the Constitution. The first one is the Constitution only addresses one aspect of the LGBTQI plus, and you can attribute that to the unanticipation of a movement like this. And also the second problem is it also limits this to just one gender, which is the male side, and doesn't address the female aspect of which is the lesbian side. So already you can clearly see that the Constitution is very unclear and very limited in its address of this particular issue. And that's what's sparking this debate. That's the drive, and that's the roots of the debate. Because if the Constitution had been very clear on the issue and had encompassed everything, we wouldn't be having these discussions. And looking back at the past, this issue has come up, in Atta Mills' time, in John Mahama's time. It's also come up a second time in Akufo-Addo's time. So we've actually had a chance to amend the Constitution and correct it. But, in Ghana, we don't really get things done. We talk about an issue and we don't follow it up to its logical conclusion. So that's what's really causing this debate. And I hope that from this debate and conversation going on, we can reach a logical conclusion this time where we make a concrete decision on what we want to do. Okay. And yeah, that's what's really causing the problem. Two things might happen, and you need to keep an open mind on this. This is not my opinion. This is pure facts. Two things might happen. One is the total criminalization of the LGBTQI plus, and the second is the legalization. You need to keep in mind, because if you take a look at different countries were all opposed. The US, for example, was really opposed to the LGBTQI plus thing. They were very, very opposed to it. But early on in the 1970s, thereabouts, it's been there for a very long time. They didn't really accept it, but then later on, as time went on, as they kept debating about the issue, it was legalized. So you need to keep in mind that there will be two outcomes. There might be two outcomes. Either of these two might happen. To follow up on the previous point, in any event that any of these two happens, I don't know which of it will happen, but in any event that these two will happen, I am really against abuse and discrimination, because even with criminals, we have anti-mob, anti-lynching laws against them in the country. And, it's Act 29 of the Criminal Code of the 1960 Constitution. And it covers the various aspects of mob justice. Okay, so in any case, any of these two happens, it's still wrong to abuse them physically or discriminate them in any way. If in a case where it's made illegal and someone is found engaging in the act, the law or the justice system has to be the system that metes out the justice, that makes the final decision on the issue. We as a people can't met out our own justice. We can't lynch, we can't physically abuse them, we can't hurt them in any way. It's up to the law to decide what it does to them in this situation. Because the same thing applies to other criminals. When we catch thieves, we are against people lynching them. So it has to be all encompassing, if you understand what I mean. The reason why our constitution has anti-mob, anti-lynching laws is because the law identifies the humanity aspect to each and every person in Ghana. It acknowledges that in any case, in anything, whether the person is a criminal or whether the person is not a criminal, we all have human dignity. That's the key word, human dignity. And in that regard, the law or the justice system is seen as the best person to pronounce judgment on such issues. So we need to keep that particular thing in mind. One thing I really do have a problem with, and it's been bugging me, is how an organization like the EU can enter the country and along with another organization open an office without the knowledge of the Ghanaian government in any way. I find that really hard to believe. People might say, well, they did it without knowledge, but I don't believe they did it without the knowledge. There's no way no government official had any knowledge, and that's sort of speaks to how corrupt the country is, because it's just not possible that an organization can just open the office in a country without the knowledge of any government official, especially the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So yeah, that aspect of it really pisses me off. And another thing that really sort of takes me about the issue is why foreign countries and foreign organizations think it's right to go into any country and impose sort of their laws and their beliefs on them. Because we are a sovereign nation, we have our own constitution, and we have the power to amend and create our own laws. So nobody needs to push us. Nobody has the right to tell us what to do. But then, in another light, you can understand that as an African country, we have put ourselves in that position where we really depend on them. So it's really easy for them to impose things on us. So on one hand, you sort of understand why it's going on. Because if Africa was a nation which was solely independent, very independent, doesn't really need the help of any external organization or country, it would be very difficult for a foreign organization to come and try to sow a seed of sort of confusion and discontent in the country. So with that aspect, you could actually attribute it to the country and its dependency on foreign countries, and also how much culture we've appropriated from them. So it becomes very easy for them to bring things into the country because we've appropriated so much from them. So I'm really against foreign organizations or countries trying to impose their own moral stance, their own laws and legislations on us. I think as a country, we have the right, we have the freedom to make our own decisions, to decide on what is best for us without any external force. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the issue. I'm not going to really go much deeper into it. This is meant to be a more of an informative video, and that is where I'll cut it off. I just really hope that after all these discussions going on, we are able to arrive at a very good conclusion. We are able to arrive not at a good conclusion, but at one conclusion. Okay, at one conclusion that puts an end to any sort of debate or discussion on the issue. So we just hope for the best and see what happens. So bye guys.